Great. So I hope everybody had a wonderful holiday. Here we are to start off this year. We got a lot of projects. I think we got a lot of stuff going on. First off is reorganization. Do we have any nominations for chair of this wonderful committee?
I nominate Marcy.
Are there any other nominations? All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right. Any opposed? I should ask. No, nobody's opposed. Is that a little squeak over there? So for vice chairman, so we have nominations for vice chair. Nominate Joe. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Any opposed? All right, good. Topic number 1 is done. Third year in a row. We're just a great team. It works. All right. Did everybody get a chance to review the meeting minutes from our December session? Any updates or changes to the minutes?
To approve.
All right. So moved. Okay. Bob, you wanted to talk about the hybrid versus Zoom.
Yeah. I just wanted to, I'm trying to get a feel for how what everyone's thoughts are.
Mm-hmm.
Bring it up only because, we're seeing a few more meetings moving to virtual.
To all virtual.
O'Hara Township is the latest that's moving to all virtual. And, I think we've discussed it a little bit. And I'm not sure that the town council is going to make any move.
Okay.
For sure. But I wanted to at least be respectful of everyone's thoughts. And if you are more comfortable moving back to virtual, we can do that. In this, I'm not as concerned about a meeting like this where there's just,
Nobody comes.
yeah, no one's here.
Nobody-
Means we get stuff
done.
I'm more concerned about a larger meeting.
Right.
But I at least wanted to have the discussion so that I can not only report back to the council, but that we can be respectful of your thoughts or concerns if you have them. So that
I think we talked about it a little bit earlier. I mean, either we can make it work either way. For me, I kind of like coming in because I think, especially with some of the items we have going on between the enterprise software, phones, and the rest of this, there could be some side discussions of stuff, and you miss that when you're not in Zoom. For those, but I think we do a really good job of hybrid. I mean, Craig, because you haven't come in, you haven't been back
Once, right?
Yeah, once. Mike's usually driving back from work.
yeah.
So we could, and I'll let you guys chat, but it doesn't really matter to me. We can make it work either way.
Well, as I said, with this group, we can spread out, and I'm not concerned about the distancing and such.
Mm-hmm.
The large groups, and we had that House or the legislative redistricting hearing, which was a mess yesterday. They didn't pay any attention to the restrictions that we had on the room in the end. So it was overwhelming, which probably has me a little more concerned about things, but we're having those conversations with each of the groups, and I just wanted to at least have that and get your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I said I can either way, but I'm leaving the house anyhow for it, so.
Yeah.
I like in person.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
a conversation.
Yeah, very often, even, at the council meeting, I would still come in
Mhm.
and work out of my office for that meeting. So I never lost the habit of coming in for a meeting.
Right.
So I'm fine with it. I just wanted to bring it up.
Yep. And Mike, thanks for joining us. The discussion we're having is just, Bob was looking for our input on going all virtual again versus the hybrid format that we've been doing. So I don't know if you have any comments or anything you'd like to add to that.
Well, the reason I'm late is because you may know the University of Pittsburgh is all virtual now, at least for the foreseeable future. So I'm certainly a proponent of taking advantage of the virtual technologies while we can and avoiding as much risk as we can.
Yeah, so I mean, that's it, but it's been working, for those who would like to, would prefer to use the virtual, that's, we're perfectly fine with that. Now, actually, now that we've got all the technology working this time.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the nice part about it, with Mike and Craig, you guys coming in virtually, it allows the rest of us to stay spread out.
Right.
And, I just, again, I want people to feel comfortable and feel safe.
Yep.
So we're trying to be respectful of that.
I really appreciate that. That's terrific.
All of us do. So thank you. All right. Then the next topic is the enterprise software update. And I think you all saw the, this little summary file that I did based of our 3 vendors. Did I send that to you? Oh, sorry about that. I will get that to you. Yeah, or I printed off too. So thank you. And we went the note out, and I know we've gotten feedback and actually more questions from Edmonds, Freedom's sticking by their quote.
Mhm.
We have not gotten anything yet from Springbrook or MyGov. And basically the net of it is technology, feature function wise, Springbrook and MyGov are the top choice.
Yeah.
They're also the most expensive
Yes.
by quite a bit. So, and the big fallback, the big hole that Freedom has is the fact that they use Google Maps behind. So, we've really got a challenge with that. That's a big hole. Instead of being able to connect in with Esri, they use Google Maps. So that pretty much leads us down to Edmonds. We each have, at least Edmonds and Freedom have given 5 references
Mhm.
be able to contact and talk to them and get their perspectives on it. So that's kind of the next step.
Yeah.
And they were an appropriate size.
And they were the appropriate size, and that was good.
Yeah.
That was good. So I was pleased with that with both of them. My question though, for kind of the 2 of you is, with a new makeup of council, or do you think, is this still something we want to pursue the whole kit and caboodle at this point in time? Versus maybe prioritizing some of the others, like maybe moving the phones up earlier in the year, or doing something else. I'm just before we go to, I'm tossing it out there as I think it's a point worthy of at least having a conversation.
I don't know if we could speak for them, but I think we should probably talk to the president, have the president send it out and just get a straw vote.
Well, that's what I'm trying to say. We definitely have, there's functionality that's, we need to update some of it.
I know everyone, including the new council members, are aware of the fact that the money is budgeted
Right.
for us to do this. I think just from the standpoint of talking to the references, moving through the rest of the process, it's going to take us a little bit more time
Oh, it will. Yeah.
anyhow. The question that I have in my head right now, I think, as it would relate to any of the vendors or the companies that we've been talking about, when talking to, is, given at least one of the goals of the council for the staff, I will need to ask a specific question of each of them when it comes to the asset management, fleet management aspects of things. I know that a tracer can do what the council would like to see happen with
Yes.
public works vehicles,
Yes.
but I'm not sure about Edmunds. I'm not sure about Freedom. And that will play into some of that, I'll call it the second phase of,
Mhm.
of that implementation. I don't see a problem with moving something like the phone conversion up, because that is pretty much
That's a pretty simple thing.
Simple.
And it,
compared to website, compared to enterprise software, that's almost plugging in and moving on.
If you said go on the phones tomorrow, they would be done by the end of February.
Yeah,
But we are gonna upgrade all the infrastructure, right? Wiring and everything.
that when it wasn't part of the
We-
phones.
we probably won't have to because of the networking.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking if we're gonna do some renovations, that it might not be a bad time to,
Yeah, and then we'll have to.
you know what I
put
mean?
some of that in.
Preparation for down the
Right.
road, because we are gonna start, technology changes every day.
Right. Right.
So I think what we need to be able to build in enough flexibility that if, depending on what any renovations would entail, that we can expand. But if we do things right with, say, a phone system, we're gonna have a lot more flexibility built into the system to begin with.
Well, you are, and especially if some of this, continues on and you end up doing more virtual, voice over IP, you can route your calls. There's things you can do with the updated phone that you can't do today.
Right,
So life would be easier.
yes.
I just want to think forward. I don't want to, spend money and then all of a sudden have to come back and redo something.
I agree with you completely. And part of the reason I'm trying to see is where it, kind of where the check mix, where are the priorities so that we can help support some of this from a technology perspective. But we're limping along with the enterprise software. Your team is doing an amazing job of, this is pulled together with baling twine
Yeah.
and bubble gum.
Well, Tricia, Chief Hawk and I were having a conversation about police payroll
Mm-hmm.
today. And just the course of that conversation, between the limitations that we have with the payroll module and contract issues, it was mind numbing to think about how we were approaching
Mhm.
something. So it was a reminder to me that we need to keep moving.
Okay, good.
So my feeling about it would be that we would keep moving forward with the enterprise software, at least the first phase of the enterprise software. We have a conversation with Edmunds.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not so sure about Freedom just because of the Google Maps. See what happens with Springbrook and MyGov. But also be talking to Cartograph or Tracer or whoever about the other side of the equation so that we get that right. I don't think we're going to be wrong if we go with Edmunds.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a step above where
It's gonna be
we
better than
are.
what we have
Be
today.
better than what we have today. I think the one thing that we need to make sure council's aware of is that moving forward, the numbers are gonna look different budgetarily than they have in the past,
Mhm.
just because of the nature of the software. And it's
Right.
not gonna matter what software we go with. There's gonna be higher numbers in the budget yearly
Yes.
than there were now. And I think that's probably something that all of us will have to sort of agree on, and if they're questioning you guys, that you understand that question and that you support that knowledge.
Yes.
We're not taking it lightly. We're trying to be respectful of those numbers. But I think we need to move ahead
Okay,
with
good.
the enterprise. I think it's going to take us a little bit more time probably to talk through the website. That's more creative, that's more thought out.
Right.
It may take a little bit more time, especially with John's personal situation for the spring. But that can move ahead a little more slowly than the other two. But I think while we're doing the references and some of the final touches with the enterprise software, we get the phones in and done.
Well,
The reality is, if you say go with Edmunds and Tracer or whatever, you're not gonna start using it for probably 9 to 12 months.
Yeah.
It's gonna take a while to get it built out, so,
Right.
Well,
there's a period of time where, yes, there's gonna be stuff going on with that to move forward, but it's not gonna be everybody, it's gonna be pieces, it's gonna be pulling things out of AccuFund and everything into it.
and the reality is that throughout the course of January, we have a heavy workload with payroll related
Mhm.
matters and then add February, March into it. We're working on audit things. So from a financial perspective, we're really not ready to hit the ground running with any kind of an enterprise upgrade until into April.
right.
Anyhow. So let's get the phones done, plan for the other, and then we'll move forward with the website.
Can I ask one question?
Absolutely.
Going back over here, can you tell me, what did they have to say about security? How strong is the security?
Security we felt was strongest with the Springbrook. I mean, that's kind of, how our biggest concern was, and what was it with Edmunds? Because we rated them the worst on this. Craig, do you remember? We had the discussion as to far as security on Edmunds.
I remember talking about it. I don't remember what we decided about it.
Well, I ranked them last.
I think it had less to do with us picking it as security and more towards something Tricia.
Yes.
It wasn't really to me, maybe to Craig, I didn't think it was like a pure security kind of thing. I
I
thought
think it's more
it
of
was
an
a-
integration, wasn't it?
It was
Because
something about one of the integrations that she didn't like something, and I
Yeah.
don't remember exactly what it was.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was necessarily an IT security thing. It may have been a more of a process kind of thing.
And that could be one of the things as we, continue on to poke at. I mean, and if we're going to break this into the question also I have with Edmunds, if we go with Edmunds, do we still need Tracer? Or can we get by with the modules that Edmunds has?
We may well be able to.
Yeah,
Or you may be able to drop a couple of the modules from Edmunds and use Tracer.
right. So that's kind of the thing is it.
Yeah, I think
once-
it becomes more of a trade-off
Yeah.
of modules and finances.
Yeah, because Tracer is pretty expensive.
How many modules are we talking?
Oh, there's quite a few. Where's that? No.
Well,
I was gonna
Yeah.
say it doesn't,
Yeah,
yeah. Just because of the way they have
where
the
they have
system
everything
broken
set up.
down, yeah.
tell you, it's in that last note.
I think Tricia's concern was the checks and balances of as you were saying, the processes,
Yeah,
and she made that comment. Now, subsequent to that, Nick Mance is leaving to go back into the higher education sector. And so we have the opportunity to make a few changes with staffing that might help us with some of that checks and balances.
okay,
And, where we didn't have the flexibility, we're trying to find somebody that can give us a little more of that.
okay.
So that may have been part of it. I don't remember the specifics, but we may be able to address that better.
Good. It is a dozen modules, 12 or 13. Based on this. And I think that's one of the things as we go, after you get the references,
Mhm.
is to be very specific with the vendors as to which modules, because so far we've asked them for everything.
Yeah.
All at once. And we know we're not going to get to everything all at once.
No.
So,
And when do we want to have an okay and move forward and tell them, okay, you're it?
Sounded like maybe April, right?
Well, I think if we could have everything in place so that we would maybe hit the ground running in mid-April, I think that would be reasonable.
Sometime in March.
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, give them the okay in March, the approval in March.
For approval in March. So we hit one of the March,
Meetings.
council meetings. All right, so I think then the next steps are this month, find some time to talk through, and I know you guys are busy, the references.
I told you, I don't do anything. I just wait.
Yeah,
for
right.
you guys to talk.
Yeah, right. I know differently. And then we can touch base with that, once those are done. I'm surprised we haven't heard from Springbrook yet. Let's see what the rest of the week
Yeah.
is. Given our response on the finances, they may just choose to say, they're not going to get down to our levels.
Yeah.
So, they may self-select out based on the last note we said, so, because they are quite a bit more. All right, anything else then on the enterprise software?
You've been quiet. Yeah, you.
Anything?
No, I got an email from Cartograph. They wanted to come in beginning of February to do a demo.
Okay,
I don't see any harm with that because we need to see it at some point, so.
And they want to actually come in because he said he was writing to ask if the team would be ready to come in February to organize a meeting. Please let me know he can make it there. He could make it here the first week of February, maybe the second. Second is our next meeting.
February 2nd is our next meeting. Yeah, I mean, if they could come in, because you haven't seen them yet, right?
No, just,
Would it be better though to try to do virtual so that everybody who works can still?
I
I would
would
still do hybrid,
yeah, I mean, I would prefer to do virtual first, hybrid second, and in-person third. My opinion.
I think that works better for folks.
The second works for everybody?
Wouldn't that be better for a demonstration too, is to have everybody have it right in front of their face then too?
That's my thought.
That's what we've been doing.
For the second?
Yeah. Yeah, that would be, just do it virtual. They've all been virtual,
Yes.
so. Yeah, second works.
Okay.
Okay. All right, anything else on the enterprise software? Okay,
Who's that presentation? On the second,
Cartograph.
Cartograph.
how
I
do you
mean, I
spell
did
it?
try to schedule it earlier. He was trying to come in
You could see if you could do
on
it.
the second because he's coming from Buffalo and he said they're having a winter effect going on right now.
Oh, yeah. He's not gonna, the odds of him being here in February are slim to none. I grew up in Buffalo. That Route 90, and that lake is not gonna freeze this year. The odds of him making it down here?
Maybe we should go there.
No. No, I'm not driving up.
I'm not going beyond Holiday Valley.
No, you're
I'm
not.
going north, I'm going to a ski resort.
Yeah, I drive that right through.
Yeah.
I drive that
Mardi
road
Gras.
way too many
Yeah.
times. I'm not doing that in
Absolutely.
Louisville. No, yeah, see if you can do virtual and maybe do it earlier. Tell them we don't need them. It's could be dangerous.
You don't need no stinking people from Buffalo coming.
Hey.
Isn't that Kodak country?
What?
Isn't that
Kodak?
Kodak?
That's
the
Rochester.
Oh, that's Rochester, that's right.
Yeah. No,
Okay, the Bills.
it's a bill. Yeah, it's the Bills and Sabres.
I think if we're gonna see them, we should also find, I don't think you guys ever saw Tracer either.
No, but you all have, so you don't have to do one for just us. I mean,
Well, I'm even thinking Jeff Shaneman, I don't think he's seen it.
if Jeff Jeff should see it.
You're not thinking about taking bits and pieces from different places.
But we're talking about potentially two. Edmonds could do it, can do the vast majority of everything.
Yeah.
They could get it done. The question would be, do they have the right functionality? So Cartograph or Tracer would we do the financial part of Edmonds and then link into one other? And
We wouldn't make it two unless we could integrate them. one
yeah,
or
they've got to be integrated. So that would be part of the big piece of this. But we're not looking to piecemeal this.
Okay,
Yeah.
Edmonds comes the closest to being able to do everything.
Yes.
But there isn't, after looking at what, 10,
Yeah,
12, 15, whatever there wasn't one single package that came through that did absolutely everything perfectly.
Springbrook and MyGov, and they do have an integration. The two vendors work together.
Mhm.
That is the closest. But as you also see, it's your one's $193,000 and then your annual fee is 73 grand. So that's the most expensive of them. And could we really justify that additional expense for, that's a tough one. I mean, technology wise, we should do Springbrook, but it's a lot of extra money.
That Springbrook was the one that they were doing the beta testing on the
On the new interface.
new interface with real estate, right? The real estate tax.
They
I
were,
don't know how long they were had done the real estate tax, but Tricia.
But it's fairly new.
yeah, it was fairly
Yes.
new. Yeah, so they have some new things that they were also coming out with, which could be good. By the time we get going, it should be out in better form than it is now, but again, it's just. It's
Did you ask the-
5-year cost is $487,000 versus.
did anybody look at the annual fee, the 73,562 for Springbrook MyGov versus the 63,500 from Edmonds? What's the 10,000? I mean, what difference?
They're
Just more expensive.
just more expensive.
Just more
Yeah.
expensive.
They're just
Yeah,
more,
there wasn't, there wasn't a
offering the
benefit
same
for the
thing.
10.
very similar, yeah,
Yeah.
very similar.
You don't think-
Nicer, but
You don't think that they would, if knowing they had a
No.
place did that and come down?
She asked the question.
well, that's kind of the question we went back with. All three of them was a note back to them before the holidays or between the break. I can't remember exactly when it went out. Basically saying, we're spending this much, what can you do on your pricing? And we have heard back from Edmonds and we have heard back from Freedom. We have not heard back from Springbrook.
It looks like Springbrook is $80,000 more over 5 years than Edmonds. Is that
Yep.
right?
Yeah,
Yep,
it would be.
yep. And given the current stuff that we have today. That's why I kind of put this little cheat sheet together. It's not very pretty. It's not very, but it was just a way to keep track of stuff. So,
You don't mind putting the money up front like that, but year after year after year, if they're getting the same thing, it doesn't
For
make
a
sense.
very similar, $80,000, that's a lot for a town our size. A lot. So Cranberry might be able to afford it, but
Cranberry pays much more than that.
I'm sure.
Well, if their size next to us.
Yeah. Hampton maybe, I mean, there's other places that might be able to afford it, but given our tax, but where we
Okay.
are from a revenue perspective, I just have trouble justifying it. So, okay. Anything else on the enterprise software then?
No, we've beaten that one.
Okay. Moving on to the website update. We do have basics, thanks Joe for putting together the basics for the technology intern. We've got the other one that I added a couple things that you mentioned. We still need exactly how much, and I didn't have the budget in front of me to go look to see exactly how much we were gonna pay these guys. So there's a couple of minor tweaks, but we get back to, again, same timing. You made a reference about John, and, I think what we had hoped for was to get some of the intern, at least, the communications one, and then get something with McCandless and me going to get input from the town, from our residents. So when would you like to?
I can get John on that, the communications one for sure. Actually, I can even put him in touch with PTC for the
tech
the
one?
tech.
Did you want to have the tech one report to him or to, we talked about having it maybe report to RJ?
The concern that I have in all of this that I'm trying to sort out is that I'm trying to get a sense of how busy RJ is going to be with the zoning ordinance update. I'll sit down with both of them and see what they think.
I know RJ is really excited about this whole idea of working on the website.
Yeah,
When she and I talked,
Yeah,
I let it leak and she got, oh,
yes, I heard that yesterday.
I know, but the zoning stuff, I think, has priority.
Yeah, zoning
It does.
will definitely have priority.
Big time.
yeah,
But I'll get with them and see
okay.
how we can.
Because I think that the first step is obviously getting input. We've got Craig did a great job of asking friends and family for feedback, but this would be an opportunity to really kind of to launch it.
Yeah.
And I'd love to be able to get it when we've got time, because I want to make sure we launch it and we're really ready. To at least get the input.
From a timing standpoint, in your opinions, if we're going to look at these two different internships, should they run simultaneously or should they be staggered somewhat?
I would think if you could get the communications one doing the stuff first,
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
because the communications one can kind of build the wording out, and then the technology one can kind of build some of it.
That's what I was thinking as well. Is
Okay.
that especially if we launch the McCandless and me, we're getting feedback from residents and businesses and
Yeah.
whoever, what would you like to see? What changes, you'd like to see? It would be helpful because you're going to hopefully get a lot of information. It would be helpful to have somebody to help go through that.
And what were you anticipating to launch that?
We're ready, that's not hard to launch. McCandless and me to set up another project on it, it's not hard to do.
That won't, it'll take us a matter of a week to.
Well, I was gonna say, since this is January, would that not be appropriate?
Mhm. I think we're far enough along. And it would be a good, PR thing for the town, for a new council to say,
Right.
we've heard you, we're gonna be doing all this. So sooner rather than later would be, I think, a
It's been
A positive
new
thing.
year, jump right into it.
yeah. That we're going to refresh our website. We want your input on what you like about what you see, what you don't like, what types of things do you want to, would you all like to see to be on the town's website. That way they've got an input, and you're gonna want that to run probably, I don't know what, 3 or 4 weeks. Because it's gonna take
I
then,
mean, there's only, what, 225 people on McCandless and me.
yeah,
No, it's more than,
because I haven't looked at the
I thought
latest.
it was more than that.
Well, but this would be something that we
Yeah.
can really push
Push.
through Facebook, which is
Yeah.
getting better, push through the website. We'd want, I think you'd want to hit a McMail,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that it's out there.
Yeah, we definitely want
To just, right, to
Right.
drum up some interest that this, we're looking for your feedback.
Okay.
And it could be another good win for the new council. Start off the year.
Out of curiosity, how often do we send out any information in mail to the township?
there's 3 townwide mailings a year. 2 town criers. One normally in spring, one in fall, and then the calendar. So we would, we could try to integrate that with a town crier.
When does the crier go out next?
Probably go out around April. May be slightly adjusted because of,
Well, this, I think we kind of want to think through, when do you want to, starting something to initially get out the end of January, I think, beginning of would be, beginning of the year, right?
Absolutely.
Let's get it out at least electronically. I don't know if you want to wait and keep the
Don't
input
wanna-
all the way open through
April.
to
That's a
April.
long.
I'm just wondering whether it can be.
Because we're gonna get these interns,
Two
we also get the
phases of it,
feedback. We get the feedback within January, February, we get these interns in.
They can go, they can
Exactly.
start, they can
Start
start
doing
going
stuff.
through it.
If we
And
wait till the town crier comes out.
and then by then, we'll at least have made a decision on which enterprise software we're going with. Whether we've moved forward, but at least we'll have
Right.
decided which one we're gonna move forward with.
Okay.
And then we can be working on what we do with the website too. It's kind of a basic framework. Do you need anything else? Can we help at all with setting up this McCandless and me?
I can't answer that question because other people are the ones setting it
Yeah.
up.
But if there's
If
something
you-
if they want input, I'm gonna
Yeah.
volunteer all of us.
Okay,
And then the other thing I'm gonna ask my fellow members is, when that comes out, this is where opportunity for us to reach out to everybody we know and try and drive and get feedback that we're really doing stuff here.
mhm.
So we'll take that as a to-do as well for all of us. Facebook, email, Instagram, whatever you do. Anything else on the website for now?
Can I just add, the discussion about the interns, whomever the intern reports to, I think there will also be an expectation on the part of the institution that they're coming from to get some evaluation and feedback. I think the internships typically have some sort of, we have to hold people accountable that we're actually doing what we're saying, we're saying we're gonna do with it, folks.
Right,
Right. Which is why we need to make sure whoever they report to has some bandwidth for these folks.
Yeah.
And I know your team does nothing. You guys are just all sitting around.
she has to come in and wake me up every so often.
Yeah.
I stay still too long and my light goes off in my office and then it's all over.
Then it's trouble. All right, anything else put on the website?
No.
Okay. Then I get back to on other business. So I think we all talked about moving forward quick sooner rather than later on the phones. And I don't think, Bob, there's much you need from us at this point on the phones.
No,
Just,
I would just caution that as we do this, we think about what's going on with the construction, what we're gonna be doing. And put good money to good use and not good then bad, then good then bad.
Right. Well, the voiceover IP, that should help and give you more flexibility with all the construction work going on. You know,
And if we,
it'll just help.
for a lot of us, we can just utilize our cell phones for.
App on the phone.
App on the
Now it just
phone.
plugs into any data jack and it's programmed in and
It's
it
right
works. So
there,
there's,
so-
there is,
It's
A
better,
backup.
it's much better flexibility than they have
So
today.
it's good backup.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
it'll, with the construction, as people are moving around and the rest of it, it's all good. Gives the
Basically, just
flexibility
plug
to
in
deal
and-
with it
Okay.
that we don't have today with all the hardwired phones. And then we have cameras. We had a body cam that approved.
Yes,
Yee-hee.
yes.
see those in 6 months, huh?
Yeah. So what we're trying to do right now, our first step, get all the paperwork taken care of with federal government. So we're trying to sort that out with them. We actually talked with them this morning about that. Council will see a policy that the police department will need to implement.
Okay.
They'll see that Monday night, just to give it a blessing.
Yep.
And then we're just utilizing the district attorney's draft policy, which was more than sufficient. And as soon as we, at the earliest possible point, we will place the order.
That's great.
So that pays for 50% of the cameras and we're good to go.
Yay.
Well, cameras and
And-
storage.
The storage and the infrastructure.
Yeah.
That goes with it. Great. Do you need anything from us on this? I don't think so.
I don't
based
think
on
so.
other
I mean, I
discussions.
think we're essentially just working off of the proposal that we received.
Right.
It's on state contract, so it's just a matter of getting everything taken care of, placing the order and paying the bill.
Good.
Does PM do the installation of all the infrastructure and storage, or is that part of the contract?
That wasn't.
They'll work with, PM will work with the vendor. We're actually thinking more along the lines of cloud storage, I think, than we are
Nice.
hard storage at this point. But we'll make sure that we have everything in place.
Good.
Just one last question, just, this
Yeah.
isn't with that. Going back to the police, do we have a portable command center? That if they had to go out, do they have their own unit that they could put in front of a facility and via technology be able to interface with, for example, I'm thinking of a school. And when there's cameras in the school, can they interface with
No,
those cameras?
no.
So we don't have anything like that.
Now, in fact, even for our fire marshal, when he goes out to something, the software he has is very old.
Are we looking-
Whoever the new one is,
We-
meaning, and it's also, he
And
could,
I came from an environment where our police department was tied into every school. We were able to see everything that was going on from our department,
we can't hear.
and we can't.
Mm-mm.
We're really, really behind the
On all
times.
sorts of stuff.
We need to think about that.
Police radios
Right.
work in the schools, do they? That hasn't been fixed.
I'm sorry?
The police radios, I don't think they're working in the schools yet, are they? Like in
I-
the,
That I don't know. I'm not in the schools anymore.
The
Well, I
newer
was-
radios should be working.
Yeah, the new I thought with the
The
new
new radios-
radios that they were getting, that
Yeah.
should fix that problem.
did they get those yet?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's good. I didn't hear about that. That's cool.
There's a lot of things from a technology perspective that we just need money.
It should be able to interface even with businesses. Like if there's something going on in a business or office.
If you have a fire truck, they
Well,
should be able to have their,
The school's one thing, but I don't know how, like, I can't think of any business that's just gonna say, oh, sure, you can come look at our cameras anytime you
Well,
want.
No, I'm not referring to that. I'm
Okay.
talking about an event, active shooter, and it's in a facility, and they have cameras in the building. It should be able to interface with there should be a way that they can, well, it depends on their software too, though. But it'd be nice if they could interface with it so that they could see what's going on inside of the building rather than just play by the hip and just send in your SWAT teams or CERT teams.
do we have a new fire marshal yet?
Yes, it starts on the 17th.
Okay, good, because then that is another, at some point, that I'd like to talk to that person about once they're, because that software that they have,
Yeah.
that's now, that's out of support.
Yes.
And that shouldn't be all that expensive or bad to fix, but that's another one that needs
Wow.
to be addressed. Yeah,
There's a,
we'll talk.
Yeah.
One thing at a time.
One thing at a time. We're
compared to where we were,
2 years ago, 2.5 years
Two
ago.
and a half
Fire
years.
marshal also has mobilized too.
Yeah, isn't that the one? What's the one that's it's
Truthfully,
it's the one where they have all the
Yeah.
layouts of the buildings and everything that he had to
Trying to remember what
download
it's
before
called.
he left on a call. So which, and it's out of support. So Yeah.
I can't remember what it's called.
it's not mobilized. It's,
Uh-uh.
I'd have to go back to my notes.
If you send the name, I'll remember.
Me too. But I should have brought my other binder, but anyway. Yeah. See, we have a lot to keep us busy.
I'm sorry for asking the questions.
No,
It's
just
just-
keep
No,
asking
you know-
questions, keep asking.
honestly, like I said, I came from an environment where we could see anything in the town going on. It's hard not to have that capability.
Speaking of seeing anything that's going on, has there been any more discussion about traffic light cameras?
That got axed.
Did it get
Yeah,
axed?
that got shut down.
Okay.
I mean, as a priority from the other things that we had to consider.
All right, so that's just for this year. Well,
Yeah.
okay.
And-
We don't have enough time to do it. I'm
In
just
all
curious.
honesty, I mean,
Well, yeah,
I'm not gonna belabor a discussion, but I'll get with the chief on some of the potential funding for. these
yeah,
things that we
it would
could-
probably be time that we sat down and talked to, again, because we haven't talked to Chief Hawk in a while on some of what else he sees, so that we can even just start planning and seeing where, some stuff.
Because I think there's twofold in my mind. You need that access that Kathy's talking about, being able to have those interfaces and see what's going on. But we also need to make sure that we have somebody here
To
that can-
catch this
To
stuff.
catch this stuff.
Yeah. So but you've got public safety net, right?
Yes.
Did I hear that correct?
Yes.
Ah, perfect. So yes, so you just let us know how we can help you with the public safety stuff. Okay. All right, what other business? Anything else? Any other topics tonight?
Speaking of public safety, we talked a while ago about writing an article talking about you can text 911. We should probably put that out soon. I can write that.
Oh, that'd be great. Great.
Thank you.
You do a great job writing up those articles.
Thank you.
Because that'd be a good one to get out, and then once we got McCandless and me, that's going out, we should, we'll come up and help with some of that too,
Okay.
so. We've been pretty good about getting articles out. It's been the last couple months, we haven't done anything. So, okay, good. No other business? Then do I hear a motion that we adjourn?
So moved.
Second,
Yep. Yep.
All right, all in favor?
Aye,
We're good. All right, thanks, everyone.
are we off the air?
Have a good one.
All right.
Are we off?